Hey everybody, Kato on the track here, and welcome to the new video. A couple weeks ago there was an announcement from NLE Choppa about his new upcoming album called From Dark to Light. I figured I'd show you how to make a more melodic beat for NLE, kind of in the style of Cha-Cha that was just released like a week ago, and one of his older songs called Molly, which was produced by CashMoneyAP. And make sure you stick around because I got this brand new VST that's gonna make this process a lot of fun. So with that being said, enough intro and more cooking. I'm gonna get out of this weather before it starts pouring like crazy, so let's get into FL.
Wait till you see them. No. No.
Ooh, piece of candy.
As usual, the first thing that we want to do is just set up the basics and the foundation of the beat. We're going for a little bit of a Spanish vibe. The main melody is going to be led by a Spanish guitar. So I've got a gypsy guitar pulled up. I used it in a couple of videos in the past. The BPM for this project is going to be set at 120. I kind of want that little slower vibe with hard-hitting 808s. Anything between that 120, I think 145, 150 range will be pretty good. Let's select E and go down to the Phrygian dominant scale. I went over using the Phrygian dominant scales in one of my other videos, so if you want to see that, I've got the card linked up above. The way that I want to set up this melody progression is to start off in the key of E and then move into F, halfway in between, maybe like right here. I don't know if I'm going to make this an 8-bar loop or 4-bar loop. These are literally just some random notes and chords I played just to give me a bass idea. So now all I've got to do is just adjust the timing, but we want to make it sound organic, so make sure everything isn't so perfectly quantized. So I'm going to move this little pattern a little bit to the left so that we can reset after this 4th bar. Now we're going to switch to the key of F. So let me go to my helpers. Let's do F Phrygian and start recording on this side. Question is, does it loop back into the beginning well?
Nope.
So I'm gonna highlight this, hit Alt S for the strum tool.
Smell like poo-poo.
Alright, so something is going on with this note right here in particular, like the timing of it. Here we go, we got the melody. I've already made a video about how I process my guitars, so if you want to check that out, just hit the card and it'll take you straight to it. Before I do that, I want to actually change the voicings of these chords. And I got this contact bank, it's called VG Jazz Trumpet 4.1. I got this thing like over a year ago. I paid 20 bucks for it, and it has some pretty nice sounding jazz trumpets. It doesn't seem like there's any way for me to fade that volume out, so I'm gonna have to create an automation clip. A cool trick that I always use on my horns is to double them and pan them left and right. So I'll click the trumpet loop and we'll do make a unique clip. And so on your gain stage, you can turn one all the way to the left, one all the way to the right. In your mixer track, you can go to wherever your trumpets are and then turn your stereo separation up. The last thing I like doing is staggering one of these samples here, and it gives a wider effect. So I'm just gonna select the right loop and use my shift and control wheel to just slightly change it. Thinking of adding a flute into the melody, I just don't really know where yet, so I want to start building the drums to maybe find some space for that flute. As you guys know, this style of music has that classic like ba-da-bum-bum-bum
Bum.
right before the beat drops. I'm just kind of using this section as a rough draft for an intro. And I want to start chopping up the beat right around here before we drop in the drums. And I like creating this as a separate pattern so that we can kind of drag it around throughout the beat whenever we want to have another drop. We've got the Manny Zay 808. How about let's do 1, 2, 3. So let's drop this down a couple octaves. Alright, so next we're going to chop up the melody in a similar fashion. I'm not gonna lie, that's sounding kind of sick so far. We're still not done with this drum breakdown yet. I want to start introducing some hi-hats, and then I want to find a perk that I can add on top of the 808s. Chance. I think chance is what I want.
Go. Hey, ho.
I don't know. Just kind of follow along the 808s, see what it sounds like. Alright, so now we can start adding in the hi-hats. Yeah, I just listened to this on my monitors and I realized that it sounds like one of those chew toys that a dog would use, so I'm going to replace the sound. Maybe try a woo. And we can start building our actual drum loop. So next we can get some 808s in. Then we're switching back over to the key of F, so let me change my helpers one more time. Let's test that out for now. I'm probably gonna end up changing this, but y'all get the idea. Just play around with the 808s, come up with a catchy pattern. Pretty easy. The only thing I want to point out specifically is this pattern right here. This is just like so overused, but it sounds good and it works, right? It really helps you get that drum bounce. It's just a bum, bum, bum. So let me pull this down. So I'm going to continue building up on the drums. So we're going to get some open hats as well. So now we're going to go back to the hi-hats and do a little bit of paintbrush on them. As a general rule of thumb, just try to follow where your 808s are landing, and you can get some pretty cool effects when you roll your hi-hats before the snare and when you roll them right after the 808s come in. Another thing that you probably want to do is adjust the shift for each of your drums, and this really depends on your melody, and you just kind of have to play around and experiment until you find that right groove. For rims and little shots like that, I like to shift them a little more. If I took the Z shaker and I cloned it, I pan one to the left, pan one to the right, hold shift and then the control wheel. Alright, so we've got this intro guitar, and right here leading up to the drums, I want to make it dark. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. Let's try that. want to give a big shout out to Tiger Sounds, who sent me this brand new VST. It's called Pendora, and it's pretty good for synth sounds, especially synth basses. And synth basses are something that can be a little bit tricky to try to design, but Pendora has a bunch of presets. They also have all these 808 presets, so you can make your own 808s, sample them, and then use them later in a beat. They also have acoustic drum kits, tons of pads. I would say that Pendora VST really stands out when it comes to pads and synth bass, like I said. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to use one of their bass presets. It's called Bass Circles. Just right off the bat, it's nice. There's also a glide option, but we don't want too much glide with this example. You know, cut off fairly straightforward. Yo, that's like so yeah, if you know what kind of sound you're going for, especially if it's a pad or a synth bass, then I would highly recommend Pendora. It doesn't take up very much memory, so you can load a bunch of these, layer sounds, and it's just a very simple, easy to use interface, and it gets your sounds and your thoughts out really quick. So I've only been using this for the past couple days, but I'll definitely be using it a lot more. And yes, this is a sponsored message, but I wouldn't try to push anything that I don't think is quality. If you want to check this out, there's a link down below. If you use my code, then you get a $20 discount. While the verse is going on, I want to slowly introduce this kind of Spanish guitar picking, just like classic finger picking. Next, we're going to be switching into the key of F, so I've already switched my scale helpers. What I'm going to do is just copy and paste this over to the second half. We got one more chord to go. So maybe these last two notes can go up. Yeah. I believe the last thing I need to add is maybe some flutes. The way that this contact bank works is you press a key and that sets the scale for whatever phrase you're about to play. This beat's pretty much done, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys listen through the whole beat as a preview. I really do put a lot of time and effort into these videos because I love them, and I hope that you love them as well, and I hope that you learn something from them. So if you have any suggestions, then please leave a comment down below or hit me up on Instagram at kazebeat. As always, I will catch you later. Take care. Kaze's out.